All right, this is my last one. I finally kind of came up with a name too. It's called Real Estate with Me. I got Cody with me this time. Thanks, Cody. Appreciate it, man. I know you've been through this whole ride with me this whole time, so you kind of know how this all goes. You know, I want to thank you for being a part of this with me. It's been a pleasure, and like to see it all come into fruition has been nice for me. So I hope it's helped you out a little bit too with everything. But to get going into all of this, where'd the story start for you when it comes to being a part of real estate?
So it's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess just to take it back, I was working at McDonald's going to college, and I was just like, I was at college and I was working at McDonald's for the tuition assistance, and I was just miserable, dude. Like, I was like, this job is not great. Like, it teaches you a lot of good things. I'm not gonna say I didn't learn things, but I was miserable, dude. The job was crushing me. Right. And I felt stuck because I'm like, well, I'm getting tuition assistance. Like, I didn't come for money. So like, I'm getting tuition assistance and this is paying a portion of my college. I can't leave this. I'm gonna go into debt. So I'm stuck at this job I don't like. And then eventually, like, they wanted me to be the guy who fixes McDonald's stores. Like, I was a manager and they wanted me to go from store to a different store and like fix the store. And I'm like, dude, this is not who I'm gonna be. This is crazy. And I told the lady, I'm like, hey, like, I'm actually gonna graduate college soon. I don't know if this is a good fit because I'm probably gonna quit, you know, after I'll get a different job. Yeah. And she basically hit me with, oh, you don't have a choice. And I was like, oh, watch. And then literally the day I was supposed to transfer, I just sent an email like, hey, thanks for everything. I appreciate the tuition assistance and all the, you know, stuff I've learned, but I have nothing left to do here. Yeah. And I never looked back, never turned back. Actually, randomly, while I was at McDonald's, I had seen like the real estate stuff. I had seen it as a lane, and I was like, that's interesting. Like, I would like to do that.
What was the first interaction though? Because that's honestly, that's the question I've had this whole time is like, what was that oh, this is what real estate is, or this is the person that introduced me to real estate?
So it wasn't even like that someone introduced me to real estate. I had seen someone doing the photos, and I reached out to him. I was like, man, that's cool. Like, that's cool stuff that you're doing. And he was like, well, hey, you know what? We need help. I would love to like bring you out. We'll pay you, blah, blah, blah. So I go out with him. I see him do a house. I'm like, this is pretty cool. Like, you know, no big deal. And then the like connection between me and them just disappeared. Like, I was like, well, whatever, no big deal. They ended up moving. I was like, whatever. I let that go. So I kind of had like, I kind of not knew how to do it, but I had seen it once. And I was like, well, you know, that'd be a cool lane. I was into like making videos and stuff. So I was just like, maybe one day I'll try it, but I don't know. And at that time I was still at McDonald's. So I was just like, I mean, I'm at McDonald's, I'm going to college. I don't have time really, you know? But as it was getting closer to me leaving, I was like, I think I want to try it. Like, I think I want to do it. And I was like trying to study and trying to learn, but I was like, you know, it's going to be a cool side thing. I'll have my other job, make side money. It'll be whatever. And then at this point too, I knew I was going to go into be in the grad program. So I was just like, well, you know, yeah, side money. Why not? So I'm like trying to figure it out. And then I leave McDonald's and I pick up a job at Las Consuelas, right? And we all get COVID. I had just left McDonald's. The next day, start at Las Consuelas. We all get COVID. I think the first day I worked there, we all get COVID, and I get laid off. They're like, we don't have labor, dude, sorry. Like, and he calls me, he's like, but we'd like to keep you around, we just can't. If anything, go on unemployment, you know? And like, my brain just doesn't work that way. I didn't even think about unemployment as an option. And I was just like, well, it's all good. Like, I applied to Target, you know? I got this job at Target, no big deal. And they hired me. And they're like, yeah, come into training. This is all within 3 days. They're like, come into training. And I'm like, I can't, I have COVID right now. And this is at the point where COVID at the time, they were like, it takes like over 7 days, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I have COVID right now. And they're like, oh, it's all good, we'll call you. I never got that call. Like, they were like, they disappeared too. I'm like, well, I just lost basically 3 jobs in 3 days. So I'm like, either the universe is telling me like, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing, or like something's going on, you know? And I was just at home, I have COVID, and I see my camera, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what?
What was that first camera?
The Fuji X-T4, okay. Or X-T20, sorry, X-T20, I have the X-T4 right now. And I was just like, I'm gonna try this. There was something in me that was like, no one's gonna trust me. Like, I just had that like mindset of like, I'm like, no one's gonna trust me, no one's gonna wanna use me. Like, how do I go about this? And I was like, I'm gonna build a brand. I'm gonna build a website, and I had a different logo at the time. It was whack, like it looked like the WWE logo.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I need a website. The website looked not great, and then I was practicing at my house. Like my house is kind of like a little cluttered, honestly, and I was just practicing at my house, taking photos, trying to get better. I'm on Photoshop, figuring stuff out. I'm on YouTube, watching every video in the world on this stuff, like the best angles, all this stuff. And eventually, like that was in November, it gets to December, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait till like January, and then that's when I'm gonna start hitting people up. Because I did end up going on unemployment, and like my dad makes fun of me because he'll be like, you're the only person who used unemployment money like the correct way, because everything I got from it just went straight into the business. I was like, I wanted to be the one-stop shop, so I was just like, all right, I need a drone. Yeah. And then I bought a drone immediately. I was like, I need that 3D camera. I don't know how to get one, but and then I saw that there was like a mini version. I was like, I'm gonna get it on eBay. I bought it on eBay like for cheap. Tripods, like a backpack. Everything just went back. It came to January, and I was like, now it's time, like, you know, to hit people up. I think I started hitting people up. No one. It was just silence. And I was like, I mean, I kind of get it though. Like, who's gonna trust me? Yeah. So like, I kept hitting people up, and I don't think I got a job until March, dude. It took months.
So it's not easy. It's not easy to get the business, or at least to break into like the real estate world, as however you want to see it or call it, and think that they'll just let you in, and just because you are willing to, even if you say like, I'll do it for free, that doesn't mean they're gonna let you go into their business and their houses and so forth and do the work. Yeah,
definitely. And I don't even think I never even had that approach, honestly, which is like, looking back is kind of crazy, because I've always heard like, yeah, just offer them for free. I never had that approach. I did one job for free, and only because the chick was like, hey, look, like, this is a 3-story condo in Dublin. I don't need your video. It was the second one I ever did. She's like, I don't need your video. This is gonna sell instantly. And because it was in the height where it was just selling like crazy. She's like, I'm telling you, this is gonna hit the open house and it's gonna sell. I'm not even gonna use your video. If you wanna just come to the open house and film, as long as you're like not in people's way, like do whatever you gotta do. Yeah. And honestly, I'm so grateful for that opportunity, and it's so weird because I haven't been in contact with her ever since. Yeah,
but you would think it'd be a great, you know, to hear that. It upsets me a little bit, but I love that you took it in a positive way, because I would think, like, as being that realtor, even I wouldn't say those things. I would just say, hey, this would be great. Let's stay in contact. Maybe we could keep doing some things as going forward. But you know, to each their own as to how they want to go about it. It's so funny to hear you now, and the story goes on. And I want to stop you a little bit, because you know how this part goes. I want to show a picture, and I want you to tell me about it. One, who this person is, because I know who you are now, but you're of everybody I've interviewed, you're the person I know the least. And so I don't really know everything about. I know this confident person about what he does. This guy speaks in front of people. This guy's in front of cameras all the time. But I know for a fact, just because of, you know, a little that we've spoken about, you've not always been this person. This is something you've created. So I'm gonna show you. And again, sorry guys, I usually have an iPad, so forgive me. Damn it. Who's this person?
That's Man Bun, mid McDonald's. That's crazy. Yeah, that's at Yosemite. That was probably like, I just got to Stan State. And that's where I was so obsessed with school. Honestly, I was so obsessed with school at that point, man. Like, the biggest thing I think that had happened to me progression-wise in my life was transferring from Modesto Junior College to Stan State. Like, I was like low-key almost like so proud of that, just because I was like, damn, like,
you accomplished something?
Yeah, because there was almost an extent to where, like, being at MJC, where I was just like, I don't even know if I'm gonna make it through this. And it's not that it was the schooling or anything. It was just like, it almost, like, for me and like just family-wise in general, almost didn't seem like something that was like possible. So like, just getting to those points made me realize, okay, if I work for something, I can get somewhere. Yeah. Right? I wasn't even good at MJC. I was not the greatest student at MJC. Yeah. As soon as I got to Stan, like, it just switched over. I was a 4.0 student. Like, things just changed, because it was the switch.
Were you the first person in your family to go to college?
Yeah. And then, because it just wasn't a thing. Like, my family's immigrants, basically. So it wasn't really like a thing. You know, you came here, you helped out the family. It is what it is. I think that's also when, though, I really started to hate working at McDonald's, because I knew there was something just not right. I was like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like something's off. And I think I was looking for something else already.
Well, this is the second image. It was technical difficulties, so we're going back a little bit. So one of my favorite images that you've ever posted was this one. It's the one of you at the drive-thru at McDonald's, and the reason I like it because it just makes me think. So it's one of your boys pulling up, and you're serving him McDonald's, and he just happens to take a picture, and I think it's dope because, you know, a lot of people, it's 2020 hindsight that you feel good about it, but a lot of people would kind of feel a bit embarrassed and ashamed because people feel a certain way. I get it, you know, working fast food jobs and this, that, and the other thing, they don't feel respected or appreciated or anything like that. And you know that's not just from the customers, that's from management and everything around you, so it just always feels a certain way. So I want to know, man, like, you know, what were those days like working at McDonald's?
Dude, I mean, I think you hit it on the head. It was rough, man. I mean, I think what people don't understand is, like, I'm not saying that these people should make up $1 billion, but the job is horrible, dude. Like, you're not only dealing with, and I had good coworkers, but like, you're not only dealing with customers, then you're dealing with management, then you're dealing with that one just coworker who's just late, doesn't do any of the work, won't do nothing, just, you know, messes around. And then it's like someone's picking up that work regardless of whatever, whether you want to do it or not. And the thing is, none of us want to do the work. Like, it's not like we're there like excited to make burgers, you know, we're doing this because we gotta, like, you know. So it is rough, man. It's really rough. You know, the moment you're done getting yelled at by a person in the drive-thru, you turn around and now you're getting yelled at by your manager because the cars aren't going fast. Or like, and I was a manager too, and it was the same thing. I'm still getting bitched at by the store manager, the supervisor, the owner, like. So the job is really like, yeah, I mean, it's almost like you're not even human sometimes working those types of jobs. So like, I give props to those people. There's a lot to learn in those jobs, and there's a lot to learn about patience.
Yeah.
I learned that very fast because I was not always the most patient person either. Mm-hmm. But just working that job, I was just like, it made me realize, I'm like, a lot of this little stuff doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Like, some guy just yells at me in the drive-thru, I'm like, he's gonna drive away. Like, why am I tripping about, you know, the little things like that? So.
And going in, you know, it's funny because again, you're dealing with a customer service based job, and obviously you're doing other things, but going into real estate, especially the media side of it, it's still a service, and you're dealing with, you know, different types of people as well in that world. So what was that like for you? What were those first jobs for you? Obviously you told us a little bit about the Dublin story, but how did it progress a little bit more? How did the idea of actually becoming a business? Because I know what it's like, because I was you when before you even, you know, thought about doing any of this stuff. I got a drone, and I was the one doing the aerial shots and the videos for everybody. And I remember, but I was a realtor. It's a little bit different for me. You're not a realtor, and you know, for me, it's like I was just kind of a little bit of, not so much begging, but hoping that people would hire me, would like the quality of my work, and then also understand that, you know, I get that, you know, they're the ones are controlling the situation, but my time is somewhat valuable as well. Mm-hmm. You know, at times I felt a little bit slighted because I was a realtor showing up to go do your media work. Yeah. You know, and it wasn't the best things in the world, but let me know how it was for you.
I think I was just at a point where I was like, I don't have anything to lose. Yeah. Like, I don't have a job. I'm on unemployment, and I kind of, even being on unemployment, like, I know that made some people comfortable. It made me really uncomfortable, actually, because I was like, this doesn't last forever. Yeah. And I'm using it for this other thing. So I just felt like I just really had like nothing to lose. I was like, I'm gonna provide the best thing that I can possibly provide to someone, and I know if I'm really doing the work, it's gonna work. Like, something's gonna work. I had like a really blind faith in the universe. Just like, if I really provide something of quality, there's no way this can't work. Oh. And that was kind of just the way I approached it. And really, I mean, looking at that photo of McDonald's, I kind of approached it almost as if it was like McDonald's. I created a menu. Like, I was like, I need quality assurance here. Like, you know, there were so many things that kind of did carry over. Yeah. And the customer service thing definitely carried over too, because I get what you mean about feeling like slighted, because it's like, to an extent, like, sometimes it does feel like there's levels to certain things, right? So I'm like, But I was already kind of just used to that in a way, you know? And that's not with everyone. And most 90% of realtors are great. But like there was like an extent when I first started where I was like, oh, I'm not like good enough for some of these people, are good enough for this. It's crazy, I guess, to just see the progression. Kind of throws me out. That is one of my favorite photos though.
Yeah. But where's this? Why this? I always had a question as to why Wulf Films?
So the man bun photo is when I started making videos. And that's really, like I said, I think I was at a kind of broken-ish part of like my life. I feel like it was kind of like something was just falling apart with me. I don't know what it was exactly. And I just started making these videos. I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know, like I like making videos. Why don't I just do this for myself? I would get off of work. I would close. I'd get off at work. It'd be like 12 or 1. I would come home, shower, and I would make video at like 2 in the morning. Just in my living room. Why I'm doing this, I don't know. But I was like, I need to be like creative or do something different. Like school and work is eating me alive. And I started making these videos where there was multiple versions of myself in it. Like there would be like 4 different people sitting on a couch, and each one would resemble something different. So I'm like, this is like the like cool guy. This is like the worker. This is like the school like nerd. And then there was just this character who just wore like a bandana. And I always just said like that guy's the Wulf. Like he's the creative one. He doesn't talk,
but
he's just there. I made it as like almost like I'm like kind of nerdy too at the same time. I was like I'm kind of into anime and like random things like Dragon Ball Z. And I was like it'd just be cool to create something similar to like those types of things. And then I created a character.
The way I talk about it more so is you created a brand out of it, basically. So what I'm trying to get at is at that point you thought this was gonna work. In your head, in your mind, you think, oh, this is gonna work. I'm gonna make money doing this. It's gonna feed me. Was it really at that point, or was it just a dream and an idea?
I think it was like an unconscious idea, really, because I was making those videos just blind, like, oh, I wish I was that guy though. Like, I wish I was the creative guy. And I just slowly, without even trying, it's weird to see it, but like I slowly, without even trying, became that person. The name really went with branding. I was like, I need to brand this somehow. And I actually put up a poll if it should be my last name, like Lindo Productions or Films, or Wulf Films. Wulf Films blew it out of the water like 40-1. So I was like, all right, well, there's something here with this. And I just rolled with the branding. And then like it took me like a year to realize, I'm like, the videos I was making became my life. Like I became the creative person. Everything that I made was a creation, really. It was like a thought, almost like a manifestation, I guess, like some people like to say. It was a thought I had prior that I was just too scared to basically act on. And then in a moment where I felt like I had nothing, I just like full sent it.
So let's forward a little bit more into where you currently are right now then, Cody, because here you are starting a business out and you got a brand and everything. Where does steam start to pick up? Because I know what it's like when, all right, you got the 1 shoot, you got the 2 shoot, and you're making a couple dollars, it's okay, but then it gets quiet. And then it can get like that again and it gets quiet. What was the turning point where you're like, okay, fuck, hold on a second, like, this can go somewhere, this can be something? What is that turning point?
So like I told you, I got my first job I think in March, right? And I was just like, well, cool, I got a job. Like, this is great. And I think in March I made like $1,000. And I was like, oh damn, well, like, you know, that's like half of what I made at McDonald's. Like, this is fantastic. And then, you know, April came and it was kind of around the same, and I was like, I don't know if this is like exactly livable, but I just kind of had like faith things were going to keep picking up. And I had seen a guy in Florida who does the same thing. He does real estate media. And I don't know why, but I was just like, I'm gonna message this guy. Like, I started watching some of his YouTube videos. He wasn't really popular at the time. He's kind of popular now. And I was like, I'm gonna just hit him up, see if he'll reply. And I was just like, hey man, how long did you wait until like things picked up? And he's like, you have to give it 6 months. And I was like, okay, well, it's April. It really started in January. I was kind of organizing prior, and I started in January. I was like, I'll wait till June. If something doesn't happen in June, like, you know, unemployment's gonna run out eventually. I gotta figure out something, you know. No joke, hits June, just like a rocket out of nowhere, like, and it's not like on any weird flex stuff or nothing, out of nowhere, from like $2,000 to close to $6,000. And I was like, what? And like looking back now, obviously summer, you know, that's a part of it, but yeah, I think just the way I was doing things on Instagram, where it was just like nonstop, like stories, kind of shouting out the realtors in the stories, posting every shoot I got, any opportunity I had to just market myself, I took it. And I tagged everyone, so I was trying to, you know, leverage accounts. That stuff really propelled me to the next level. And, you know, I was trying as hard as I could to supply the best customer service, you know, making sure the photos got there super early in the morning. I would wake up super early just to make sure I could send them out. Just making sure everything was to a T. And, you know, that brought in a ton of referrals. And that's really where it just started going and going. And it just progressed from the 5 to 6, from 6, and then eventually to 7, and then it hit December and it fucking died. But and that was scary to see. But then it picked right back up in January, and you know, so.
And it's funny because it sounds so simple that, you know, it just kind of progressed and it worked out. But I know there was a lot of, from my own experience, a lot of reasons to probably quit. A lot of situations where you felt like, man, why am I even doing this?
Yeah.
A lot of, you know, people acting like your job's not really, like, just, there's plenty of you guys.
Yeah.
I could go get another media person and so forth. You know, I always make sure, I want to make sure I pointed this out because, you know, I have a huge issue with people disrespecting their vendors and making people feel like, oh, I can work your, you know, why are you charging this much and this and that and the other thing, but they're willing to go spend money on this random bullshit. I have a huge issue with that because I was that guy as well, just trying to, you know, make this work for myself. And I'm luckily I knew that guys like you were coming, so I had a short period of time to make what I had work. But I know the day-to-days, and people don't understand what it's like for you to travel everywhere, take the pictures, take the videos, and then have to go home, edit them, and provide a streamlined process, figuring out how to provide that process for them to receive the imaging and charge them through. I think it's just like, oh, you just go put a couple pictures together and bang, bang, you know? That's what they were doing because they were doing it on their phones. You know, tell me what it's like on those hardships and having to, having to charge somebody for the first time to try to make money from this.
That was probably the most nerve-wracking part, was really being like, well, here's my prices, you know, and just hoping like they were like, yeah, that makes sense. Because I didn't know too much about like how the commissions worked. I was super curious, so I would ask any chance I got to be around a realtor. I'd ask, like, not trying to be too nosy, but like, oh, how does this real estate stuff work? Because that was a hard aspect to be like, yeah, my package is, you know, this amount of dollars, and like, is that okay? Like, you know, it was those type of fears. And then, you know, at that time too, when I first started, I was still actually going to school. So it's, you know, school requirements, doing this. And then at the same time, my dad ended up getting in a work-related accident. I'm taking him to doctor's appointments, which to an extent, in a way, oddly kind of like worked, because in the mornings while he's at these doctor appointments, I'm just watching YouTube videos all day.
Yeah.
I'm watching like 2 or 3 YouTube videos just in doctors' offices, just sitting there watching videos on how to grow business, how to streamline things. But there was a ton of fear in the beginning, for sure.
Did you ever want to quit?
No.
No?
No. It's funny because I tell people I had a blind faith that things were just going to work out. Like if I just kept going, things were going to work out. We were golfing one time and I just told him, I'm like, dude, I don't know what it is, like, but I think if I can get like 5 shoots a week, I'll be good. Like, I'll be good because that's, you know, X amount of dollars and that's X amount of shoots for the month.
That's just to get by. That's not to make the living. That's just to get by.
That was to get by. I was like, if I can just do that, golden. And that was at the time, I think I had like 3 shoots, dude, under my belt. I was like, yeah, I really did have a blind faith that like, this is going to work out. I've put in the work, like, because I had never put in that much work besides, I guess, school. But even school, I had never put in that much work on something in my life. And I was like, if this doesn't work, then I don't know what's going to work.
Never had a thought of a plan B? Never thought what you'd do if you
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what I would have done, because even at school, I was still going to school, and I went up to my professor. I'm working on a thesis, and I'm telling him I'm in a grad program. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do with this. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't think I want to do anything in psychology. And he was like, that's fine. And then I was like, what do you mean it's fine? Like, I've been doing this though, like, you know, I'm already doing shoots, but I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm kind of like frustrated at this moment. I'm kind of having like life, like what's going on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that's fine, you're educated. You know what to do. You know how to write, you know how to organize stuff. You're already doing it. Just do something. And I was like, all right. And then like a month later I came back, I'm like, yeah, I've been doing all these shoots. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, you told me to do this. And he's like, nah, but I didn't think you were gonna like really like, and I was like, no, you literally told me like full send it. And I was like, that's what I did.
Oh, that's cool, man. You know, a lot of people, especially what's that, what did your manager at McDonald's tell you? Not to get on McDonald's too much, but what did your manager at McDonald's tell you when you're trying to quit?
That, or like I didn't have a choice, basically. Yeah.
That's where you were gonna stay and you were gonna do this no matter what?
Yeah, but yeah, I was gonna be that person that like fixed McDonald's, like.
And you would think a lot of people in those situations, because of the pressure of upper management or so forth, would stick in those situations.
They do.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
I didn't see that many people quit, like regardless of what like people think about those jobs. I didn't see many people quit, and I would always tell people don't quit. I would always tell people like put your 2 weeks in just in case you need this as a reference.
Mm-hmm.
And then looking back, I'm like, I'm the only person I truly know who kind of just quit and left.
Again, I've known you what, maybe 4 or 5 months. This is the Cody that I know, and this is the Cody that I thought, man, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, what the fuck? Like, I saw this, mind you, again, I'm not the big social media guy whatsoever, but when I saw this, there was something very interesting about this, because it wasn't so much that I saw this and I'm like, this seems so practiced. No, this is something you were doing before you got into all this stuff. And it's a picture of the grid of your Instagram. And it's all the conversations and the topics that he goes over. Somebody told me about Wulf Films, this guy does media, and I go on his Instagram and I see fucking this, like a fucking grid of just like videos on a random amount of topics. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck's this guy doing? And as you watch it more and more, he's trying to help you. He's trying to provide you with knowledge and information of things that are working for him. And you'd be surprised what gems you'll find in there. But one thing that I realized, and one thing that struck me is, as I'm watching this, I'm like, this isn't some guy that's just like, all right, let me pick up a camera and go do this. No, something tells me that you have been doing this before you. This reminds me of a guy like myself, that I love photography and videography, and sometimes I would lock myself in my closet and take pictures of myself to think I was artsy, or to try to talk myself up into a situation. That's who I saw when I saw those videos. Tell me if I'm right or wrong about that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think that was something I wanted to do, and I had tried it the year prior. I did like 2 videos, and they did well, and I don't know what it was. I just stopped. I was just like, nah, you know what, whatever. And I really did. I wanted to do those, and I was obsessed with like lighting and different things like that on those types of videos, because I really liked studio setups, YouTube setups. I really liked those. And I was just like, yeah, I feel like I can do these, but then I was just like, I don't know. And then really what started those was, I'm a little petty, dude. Like, I'm a little bit petty, but I use it in a positive way. I never try to like hurt anyone or slight anyone in any way. But I was at an event, and a guy, my business name gets called out. It's a big event. I'm a sponsor at it. And my business name gets called out, and I'm walking up to the stage, and some guy, he might have been drunk, whatever. Some guy was just like, who's that? And I was like, oh. And then someone else immediately was like, that's just the photographer. And I was like, God, that hurts more. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sitting at this event like mad, dude. I'm like, bro, like in front of everyone, like, it's not really the embarrassment. The thing that was really bothering me was the wording. Oh, he's just a photographer. I'm like, oh, so you're gonna slight like that I made a business, you're gonna slight that I do videos and all this other stuff. So I'm just like, what am I doing? Immediately I was like, what am I doing wrong? And I went onto my feed, and at the time, all photos. And I was like, I'm the photographer. That's what I am. Like, you know? So at that moment, I was just like, no, I'm not. And immediately I was just like, I'm gonna make videos. I'm gonna go back on this video train. I'm just gonna go hard. And that's exactly what I did. I was like, I'm gonna do 100 at least this year. I think I'm at like 30 or 40 right now. I have some saved, ready to go. And I knew just content-wise it was gonna do well as well. And I was hoping that the interaction would just pick up, and it's picked up like a lot.
It's so funny you say that, because I'll be honest, so when I first met you, I could probably look back at my messages, and a lot of people that I talk to, I don't refer to you as my photographer or my videographer. I refer to you as my media specialist. That's literally what I refer to you as to everybody that I talk to since the day I met you, because when I went on your stuff, I was like, this guy doesn't just do, this, that, and the other thing. So kudos to you to taking a situation like that and turning it around and thinking, hold on, this can open up an opportunity for me, and I believe that it has, because a lot of people would stick in a certain field and just kind of keep it going that way. Yep. In a situation like that, it can be very hurtful, but to see you turn it around and build this, man, I'll tell you right now, it's impressive, because I know everybody that is either a realtor or whatever, or in our field is watching this. 90% of the people watching this have yet to do half the amount of videos that you have, because it takes a lot to do them. It doesn't matter about the quality of it. Sticking your face in front of a camera and trying to talk about what you do, and having to worry about people judging you, talking shit about you, just completely downing your whole, everything you've built up to this point. They don't know what it's like to go through all this, to walk these steps. So I'm really proud of you for getting to this point. And to anybody that says that he's just a videographer, photographer, go fuck yourself, first of all. But on a side note, no, man, that's awesome. It honestly just kind of gets me a little bit, because again, I was in your shoes. I know what it's like to build something up, to take pictures and make you feel like you're just kind of in their background, in their shadows, not really being part of the business itself. But no matter what, here you are now, and to see, my bad, man, it really just caught me up. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm actually stumped for words. I had a whole script in my head where this all kind of goes, so my bad, man.
You're good. I think what's crazy, man, sometimes I look back at those types of things. I haven't even looked at that, honestly. And sometimes I look back at those things and I'm just like, I don't even fully know what gets me to do that.
Trust me, I look at your videos, I don't know how you, because I do them too, but man, I can't, the consistency of it, the amount that you put out there, the different type of topics. You speak about your days, basically. I get that. I just can't do it as much as you can, and it's impressive, man, to be quite honest. So let's go into a little bit more about like where you are now with things, because to me, Cody, you're not just looking at how many more videos of homes can I pump out, how many more pictures, because now, like I just referred to you, Snacking with Sid, it's one of your clients. Different types of medias that you can get into. Yeah. What's next? What's the next part of the business here? Because this was just like the catalyst to what I think you're gonna go into next.
I think it's video stuff. I think it's different industries. I think it's helping businesses grow their brand. I'm really interested in people's brands, man. And I think people think whatever, I'm trying to sell them something with that. I'm really interested in people's brands, really interested in how far I can take, just like the Snacking with Sid. I'm like super interested. Like I went, took the pictures of the food was amazing. I'm like, first thing I think is like, how far does this go? Like, and it's nothing for me. Like I'm not trying to like sell or nothing, but it's just, if I could be a part of the process though, that's fantastic. Like I would love to help anyone and everyone grow their brand. And I think there's a lot to be done in branding, and I think people just don't utilize video, and that's the oddest thing to see, because people are so quick to post a photo, and it's just like the video gets so much more interaction, it just does so much for you as a brand. And I just think, if you can use videos to get you to financial freedom, would you do it? That's what I tell a lot of people. I'm like, if there's, especially realtors, I always tell them, I'm like, you're scared to post that video, but what if I told you there's $5,000 on the other side of that video?
No, you're right. No, you're 100% right. The interaction that you could get at, the amount of information you could pump out, even if it's just 30 seconds, can change a lot of things at the moment, to be quite honest.
I mean, realistically, I met Jose Ojeda through, content. That's what made us meet. Now we're here.
Yeah, no, 100%. It wasn't good fucking point, because I know actually a lot of photographers and videographers and that just primarily did that, you know what I mean? But you were the first one that I met that really dove into content. And I think that's what I was more so attracted to, is like there was more to it, that you can take this to different directions and I think you're doing a great job with it, to be quite honest. And you going after businesses and supporting them. Let's get it towards. Let's start rolling this towards the end. So now, Cody, like I said, now that you're this media specialist, people have asked you to come to speak at their events, at their offices, and you're trying to educate them. What, like, particularly to real estate, because again, this is what it primarily is for. What do you believe is missing still out there for a lot of realtors?
I don't know if it's what's missing. It's what they have. It's fear. It's a ton of fear, dude. It's fear of, like, I mean, I'm not exactly sure. Actually, I think it's multiple things probably. It's fear of what John at the office is gonna say. It's fear of, like you said, reinvesting into your business. Oh, I want to save on that aspect. I don't want to spend the money for this. Is that gonna, give me an ROI? And I don't think they quite understand, and this isn't a dig or anything, but like, it's crazy because I'll be like, I'm telling you, this works. I can show you statistics. I screenshotted them. I wanted to know this worked for myself. I screenshotted them. The only reason why I'm here talking to you is because it worked. And that's what I said today. I did a class today and I was like, the only reason why I'm here is because I made videos. If I was still just out taking listings, no one cares. And at the first one I said the same thing. I was like, I'm here. I got asked to do this because I started doing videos. And I just dropped the fear. I didn't care about the judgment. People are going to judge you regardless. I've heard things about myself. I've heard things about my brand. Mm-hmm. I've heard things about the name. What does it matter? Like, at the end of the day, I post these videos. They get interaction. Sometimes they lead to jobs. Cool. I like doing the videos. It works for me. The money and all that other stuff is just a byproduct. That's why I know if I'm giving out like free information and trying to give out tips to help people with their brands, the byproduct is probably along the line somewhere something pans out.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, well, I like doing the videos.
Yeah, no, 100%. No,
yeah,
you're right.
And I think where realtors look at it, they're like, where's the ROI? Does this immediately get me a lead? Probably not. Probably doesn't. But if you did 5, does it get you a lead? Maybe. If it's consistent and you're in everyone's faces nonstop, or you sponsor one and it just gets right in front of the right person. I mean, dude, one lead could be your marketing for the year. So I would take that chance every time. That's what I tell people. I'm like, I took the chance, and you could say the videos are corny, you can say they look weird, you can say whatever you want about me, but at the end of the day, I like doing the videos and I know that they work. And I try to tell people that, like, you can't worry about people because, does John at the office saying something about you pay your bills? John don't pay your bills.
No.
You pay your bills. What if that one video you post, puts food on the table or helps, pay for something for your kid? I mean, I'm taking that chance every single time. Like, they're already door knocking. I talked about that today. I was like, you guys are door knock. That's crazy. Like, you go to people's doors, you expect them to open up, and then you try to ask them if they want to buy or sell their house. What?
Wild. Isn't
that crazy? We're in a time where people are like talking about their rights and keeping their guns, and you're door knocking. I'm going to be in front of a camera. I'm going to press a button. I'm safe. I'm good.
No, you're 100% right. That's crazy, man.
I think it's a new way of marketing, and I think I haven't made a video on it yet, but I really think if you're not, real estate is a marketing job, whether you believe it or not. You're marketing houses, you're marketing houses that aren't even yours. You're trying to get them to your clients. If you're not doing the new forms of marketing, I feel like you're almost doing a disservice to yourself and to your potential clients.
Yeah.
Because really, it's like, that's what you need to be doing, right? You need to be adapting. The old way was flyers, and do those things work? I'm sure they still work to an extent, but the old way was flyers. The old way was door knocking. The old way was doing these things. This is a new way. I have 2 clients that have told me that they get 90% of their leads from social media.
I believe it. No, I mean, we've interviewed one that is purely social media. So no, the truth is in the numbers and all of it. But all right, Cody, unfortunately, like, this gets interesting when I do this, but you already know how this goes.
Yep.
It's an image of you in 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. What do you see? What do you see me showing you about yourself? It could be anything between personal, business. What is it that you see?
It's funny because I've had time to think about this.
Yeah, you know how this goes.
I know how this question goes, and I don't want to, like, steal Jose's answer. but I'm still not even sure if I know. That's what's crazy. I don't mean that in any like weird way, but I just feel like life has so rapidly adapted for me. Sometimes it's almost just better not to know and just kind of go with it. I feel like I've just been going with, you know, whatever the universe kind of throws at me, and I've just been taking it by charge. And also I've just find things that I want to do, and I just go for it now. Like I did drop a lot of fear that I had previously, and I really just go for things. I mean, if I had to tell you something that I would want to do, I do want to get more into, I think, coaching, because I think that's a sector that I could potentially succeed in, is helping businesses and coaching them and to like the correct way of doing probably social media, handling their stuff. Because I know that I can also make the content as well as being like, maybe we should try this, you know? Because I do think I can help transform a brand. I've done it for myself. So I feel like, because I had a different logo in the beginning, it was kind of wishy-washy, you know, things did pick up, but I did a whole transformation for myself, and I just feel like I could potentially do that for others. And really, what I want is just to get to opportunities with businesses. I want to be able to, you know, either coach businesses or be a part of them in some type of media sector. Yeah. And just have freedom. I've never really been deep into, like, obviously money's nice. I just think money's a byproduct of the work that you like to do. So I'm not really too focused on that, but if I could get to a point where I'm just feel free, it's kind of just what I'm chasing, is just chasing the ability to have time and help other people, basically grow what they got. Yeah.
Well, here's a little twist. We're gonna do a little twist since you're not used to this. Since you had seen this all the time, this is what I see for you.
Nice. I like this.
I see for you. Cody, man, what I see for you is somebody that has more choice of having time. And what I mean by that is you have a team, you're delegating, you're running. To me, and I don't mean this in any wrong way, to me, a business is really a business until it can continue to operate without you. Yeah. That is truly a business. Yeah. You're building up to it, you're getting there, you're working out the kinks. That's what I see, is you are transforming this into a business that no longer requires you.
Yeah. And that's actually kind of crazy that you say that, because they're not on like full time, but they help me a lot. I got 2 people who help me a lot now. They pick up shoots that I can't get to. You know, they're both super talented as well. And honestly, when I was gone in San Diego, they handled everything. Yeah. And I mean, I can't thank them enough. They're super talented people. But yeah, I think you're right. And I think it's, you know, it's organization on different levels too. I just need things more organized on the back end. And I mean, I guess talking about freedom, that is the way to freedom, right? It's that whole trading money for time thing.
You heard me say it time and time again.
And that's kind of where I'm at. That's what I've been really doing, honestly. Like, this year has been really good. I can't complain, but I'm investing even more now than I was prior. So it's like, and there's no complaints. Yeah. I mean, it's more time.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah, so.
I like to hear that. Cody, man, I appreciate you being a part of this interview. I appreciate you being part of all the interviews. You've been a huge help in doing this and making this, and you know, congratulations. I hope to continue this relationship, and that's a wrap for the first 5.
There it is.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
Of course.